The pillows are fluff thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough, join the family. It's all love while we laugh at Bert's criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Ooh, oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh please, the puppies need me. Oh please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.
Hello, Sofa Squad. How is everybody doing? What's going on out there? I hope that y'all are doing well. I hope that you're doing lovely. Welcome all the mods to the little sofa here. They keep everything going and the cushions fluffed. If y'all could also drop a number 1 in the comment section, let me know that you're going to hear me now. Hey, Jenny. Hey, Tux. Hey, Emily. Summer. Heather. Thank you for dropping those ones. Hey, Curious Leah. Share Bear. Jess. What's going on? With respect, mostly. Hey, Alex. Hey, Dear Ghost. Hey, Maura. Hey, Amanda. Brenda. Nancy. What's up? So, y'all, hey, Avery's Jungle. Hey, Sandy. So y'all, hey, Kate. So what we're going to do tonight, y'all, is we are going to be watching the opening statements in the James Craig trial. Now, this is going to be courtesy of our only Mr. Courtroom Confidential, Josh. He has a secondary channel where he does the live trials. He streams them and whatnot. And so, yeah, so we're going to start using his stuff when he, if it's a trial we're watching or whatever. So we're very thankful for that. Be sure and check him out. He has his main channel as well. He's been on the show before. The link's down in the description below. So that's it. We're going to watch that. This is just a very quick overview. So number 1, Lauren with Hidden True Crime is there in the courtroom doing updates and whatnot. And I listened to her. We talked about some of their chat earlier today, so I won't go too deep into it. But I listened to her like day 2 recap or whatever. And I mean, I was like, oh, whoa. Okay. Now, I have not watched the opening statements, right? But the gist of it is this is a dentist who killed his wife via Visine and cyanide. And essentially, my understanding is he's trying to blame it on her. Like, basically, like she wanted this to happen. From what I heard of Lauren recapping day 2, it was giving Anthony Todd. Okay. Like that level of obviousness. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people literally being like, we saw the package of cyanide that you had sent to work. It's bad, right? And horrible death. This poor woman. So they're about like an hour. I'll speed it up a little. Now, Emily gave me some insider tea earlier. She said that the audio is not good in the very beginning. So we're going to have to just grin and bear it and see. This is a kind of a rough stream, if you will, or you know what I'm saying? I don't know how you say it. It's like a courtroom audio type thing. So there's that. Now, what I'll do is, as we usually always do, when I start it, drop a 1 to let me know you can hear something going on, and then I'll mute myself. Shooba-doo. Shooba-doo-doo. Shooba-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Shooba-doo-doo, bear.
Opening statement.
We already run.
Mr. Brackley, typically I would give a 5 and a 2. Do you want something different?
There's a big 5.
Yeah, they better get a little bit better than this.
With that, you can proceed whenever you're ready.
Your
Hold
Honor,
on. I have to put this on.
Dr. Craig, ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Hold on.
this is Angela Craig. Angela
Okay,
Craig
wait, hold on.
died. Angela
Hey, y'all,
Craig was
hold on one
murdered.
second. I can already tell y'all, if you have earbuds, which I don't, but I have these big things, go on and plug them in. Go on. Do what you gotta do. You already know. Come on. Please hold. Hold on one second, y'all. I gotta put these in. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, let's try again.
She died on March 18th,
Much better.
2023. The last day on this earth alive and we're appointed was March 15th of that same year, 2000. Angela Craig was 43 years old. She was 10 siblings. She was the youngest, 10 siblings. She was a mother of 6 children. Angela Craig will be described as someone focused on her family, focused on children, focused on homeschooling her kids. Angela Craig took care of people around her. On March 15th, she checked in. She went to the emergency room at University Hospital, and she never left. She went to the hospital feeling dizzy. She went to the hospital feeling lethargic. She went to the hospital critically ill. While she was in that hospital, doctors and nurses wearing that familiar blue scrubs that we see doctors wearing, TB, and we go to the doctors ourselves, nurses wearing those familiar blue scrubs are in and out of her room trying to save her life. And Angela Craig, as she's been doing for the last 10 days of her life, is also fighting for her life. Doctors were trying to figure out why Angela Craig was in the hospital for the 4th time in 10 days. They were trying to figure out what was wrong with her. They were trying to figure out what her symptoms were, and they couldn't. Despite experts and exams and blood tests, they couldn't figure it out, but they fought, and they fought to save her life. There was another doctor at the University Hospital that day, Dr. James Craig. The man quote, Angela Craig's husband, the father of her 6 children. And then Dr. James Craig also went into Angela's room. And he was also wearing those familiar blue scrubs of a doctor. But he didn't go into that room to save Angela's life. He didn't go into that room to fight for her life, to support her. He went in that room to murder her, to deliberately and intentionally end her life with a fatal dose of cyanide.
So for a second, because here's my thing. The fact that he's doing this in the hospital is like on top of everything else he did, allegedly, obviously at this point, right? Next level. Okay. Next level. Like the literally, I cannot get there with this guy. This is why I'm like, it's like Anthony Todd. Like when Anthony Todd got in there, described it, it's almost like this is just a part 2. Okay. Let's keep going. Sorry. I just couldn't help myself.
Intentionally and deliberately over the course of 10 days, ended her life with poison called arsenic, commonly used in history to kill rats. With a poison called tetrahydrozoline. You're going to know tetrahydrozoline tetrahydrozoline by another name, Visine, eye drops. Another drug called cyanide. This case is not about Angela Craig, although we're going to talk about her and remember her. It's about what he did. It's about what the man in court did, James Craig. We're going to talk about the evidence in the case. I'm going to go through 3 timelines. And the timelines are going to come together and they're going to cross each other, but they're all going to end on March 15th. And the first timeline is Angela Craig's last 10 days on March 1st through 5th. Angela Craig went to Utah to visit family. She spent a few days with her sister Tony. They went to a genealogy conference in Utah. Genealogy, something they enjoyed to do, was a hobby they had. They had a good time. They were happy. Every day, at the end of the day, she would speak to the defendant because they were married, husband and wife. They made plans next year to go to another genealogy conference to trace the roots of some folks back on the East Coast. Because Angela Craig had plans. She was making plans to live. March 6th, Angela Craig comes home. March 5th, she comes home. She's with her family. She's with her husband. And her life changes on March 6th. March 6th in the morning, Angela Craig wakes up. She drinks a smoothie. It's a smoothie that the defendant makes for her. And he makes a lot of smoothies for her. She makes a lot of smoothies for him.
I mean, again, not to reduce it down to comparing it to the Anthony Todd thing, whatever. But I mean, remember like the pies that he made, the smoothies, talking about, she wanted to take her life. And it was, I mean, you have to wonder if he saw the trial and like took mental notes on it. Right? It's like, I don't know.
There's a photo here of Dr. Craig making a smoothie for Angela Craig on the 6th of March, 2013. Now, there's a photo of him in their kitchen. Yesterday, we talked about things that happen behind closed doors. We're going to see a lot in this trial of things that happen behind closed doors because of a camera that was installed in their kitchen. Nothing unusual. Family member who's in the camera business. There are cameras installed around the house. One in the kitchen. It was a security thing. So we're going to see a lot of the interactions between Craig and Andrew. We're going to see a lot of the smoothie Billy and smoothie baby. After Angela Craig gets up and she works out hard, she prided herself on her workouts. She starts to feel strange and she sends Dr. Craig a text. My stomach feels fine, but my head feels funny and dizzy. Very strange. And folks, for the next 10 days, center of Angela Craig's life is trying to figure out what's wrong with her. Why she feels dizzy, why she feels strange, why she feels lethargic, why she vomits. Later on, we're going to talk about it, why she faints, why her kids had to find her fainted, why she had to crawl across the floor one morning. That morning, they go to Parkway Adventist Hospital, they go to the emergency room, they meet Dr. Pico, emergency doctor, and figure out what's wrong with Angela Craig. They will understand the tests, CTs, MRIs, blood tests, and they just can't figure it out. And Dr. Pico, at the end of the consultation, sends Angela home and says, if it gets worse, come back. Angela Craig goes home on March 6th, and she immediately starts trying to figure out what's wrong with her. She searches the internet. She puts in her symptoms. She puts in things that she thinks could be wrong with her. We'll see some of them here. Now, folks, a lot of these timelines have a lot of dense information. You're going to want to read it. It's more to help me be efficient. It's more to help me get through this. You're going to see all of this in the trial. During deliberations, you're going to have all of it. But Angela Craig spends 3 days searching what's wrong with her. She spends 3 days texting her husband, what's wrong with her? Because she doesn't know. On the 7th of March, she goes back to an urgent care because she's not feeling well. She's feeling sick. She figures they couldn't figure it out in Parker. Let's try the urgent care. And they couldn't figure it out either. They send her home. March 9th, Angela Craig starts the morning with a smoothie. Her symptoms worsen. There's a moment on March 9th where her kids find her passed out, faint. There's a moment on March 9th where she crawls across the floor because she can't get up. And she goes back to the hospital. Once again, she meets with Dr. Pico, who's the attendant at Parker Hospital. And Dr. Pico can't figure it out again. So they admit her. Basically, a 43-year-old woman who's fainting, who's dizzy, who's lethargic, who's not feeling well. They can't figure it out. Got worse, so they admit her. And Angela Craig spends from March 9th to March 14th in the hospital. She needs experts. She continues to do her own Googling. She continues to ask Dr. Craig, her husband, what's wrong with her? And they continue to talk about it. He visits her. He brings her food. He brings her things to drink. And the conditions worsen. On March 11th, she has what we're going to call a crash. Her blood, her heart skyrockets after he visits her. But they say they fight to keep her alive. She fights to stay alive. Next couple of days, she's stabilized. She's not getting worse. Stays in the hospital, continues to worry, continues to be afraid. She gets frustrated at times. She gets angry. Why can't they figure out what's going on with me? And she expresses that frustration, that fear, that anger with her husband, who says nothing. Angela's brother and sister, they drive from Utah. They come to visit. She needs help. Kids need help. They come to help Dr. Craig. She's discharged from the hospital on the 14th. She goes home and she immediately starts to Google, immediately starts to search the internet, what is wrong with her. Within an hour, she's on that computer searching what's wrong with her. Because she doesn't know, because she wants to fight for her life. Internal shiver, what causes those? Fall asleep, deep snore, internal tremors, what causes those? She doesn't know. She wants to know what's wrong with her. Obstructive sleep apnea, what could it be? She goes down a path thinking that maybe she has diabetes. She's gone down a path thinking maybe it was a stroke or a heart problem. She doesn't know. He doesn't know either, or at least Dr. James Craig never shares with her what he's been to. This is a photo of Angela Craig on the night of March 14th, 2003. Dr. Craig took that picture and sent it to a woman named Dr. Karin Cain. It wasn't a doctor consult. We're going to talk about Dr. Karin Cain, but you see her computer because she's working. She's trying to figure this out. She wants to know what's wrong with her. March 15th.
Y'all, I had to pause for a second. First of all, thank you, Kate. Thank you, everybody who's done the things too, and the membership quotes and whatnot. Y'all, bless this woman's heart. Oh my God. Oh my God, y'all. Can you imagine? Can you imagine getting up, doing your morning stuff, getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker? This guy taking I cannot. Yeah, I'm telling Anthony Todd, that is what this is totally reminding me of. It's crazy how these cases will be so adjacent to one another. Okay, let's keep going. Sorry. This is getting me all worked up. Okay, here we go.
Angela Craig goes back into the hospital. And this is how she ends her day on March 15th. Her brain is dead from lack of oxygen. Over the next 3 days, her brain dies. Her brain dies. Her organs die from lack of oxygen. And Angela Craig dies on March 18th, 2003. Now, you're asking yourself why? Why would Dr. Craig kill the mother of his sister? What's the motive? We'll probably say this at the end of the trial, but motive is not an element. You don't have to prove motive, but there is a motive here. And you ask yourself, is it money problems? Is it other women? Yes. In this case, it is. It's money problems. Dr. Craig was in financial trouble. His dental practice, and I'd like it to mention, he's a dentist. He had a dental practice called Summerbrook Dental. He was in trouble. He was in trouble to the point where a friend of his, Dr. Ryan Redford, who you'll meet, invited him into his practice. They combined their practices. Dr. Redford decided, I'm going to help you manage your practice. I'm going to help you get out of debt. I'm going to help you succeed. But there came a point, January of 2003, Dr. Redford went to the defendant's house and said, it ain't working. You're going to have to take a pay cut, or you're going to have to work more hours, or you're going to have to take less vacation. And that's how it could work, if at all. There are life insurance policies. Angela's name, no benefit. Dr. Craig should end up pass. You hear that policies. Other women. March 1st, Angela's first day in Utah with her sister, she texts her husband. You still in communication with other women? Because by his own words, his own admission, you'll hear he's had a lot of affairs. He's been caught. He's been busted. Sometime in November of 2022, in that time frame, he got caught. And they talked about divorce. And ultimately, they decided to stay together. He decided that he wanted to stay together. And they tried and they fought. Angela Craig was fighting for something else in those last days of her life. And that was her marriage to the man in court, to this man. And he denies it. And technically, in the timeline, what he says, this may be true because he might not have been communicating with women from a website dedicated to sugar daddies, finding sugar babies, me, Jim and Waffles. Jim and Waffles was his handle on a website called seeking.com. He said he was worth $10 million. He's looking for a situation. He's not looking to change the situation, but he'd like the new points of them. He did that. He met women on this website. He met them, and there was an arrangement. All right, I think that's how these things work. Financial arrangement.
I mean, are we surprised? Are we, y'all, the screen name is taking me out alone. Are we surprised? God bless her. This is what he's doing behind her back with a smile on his face, probably. With a smile on his face, probably. Y'all, so many people hit me up about this, talking about Paul, you like look at whatever. No wonder. No wonder. Okay. This is crazy. Okay, let's keep going. It's just whatever.
He's been for companionship, arrangement for travel, arrangement to buy things for these women who call themselves the sugar babies. Dr. Craig spent a lot of time with them, texting them. And sometimes he would be vulnerable. Sometimes as vulnerable as them. He would talk about his marriage. And he would say things about his marriage, told it a situation, a problem. He was frustrated, he was stuck, trapped, hopeless, and helpless. You're going to meet some of these women. Now, we talked about this yesterday. Just because there's going to be evidence that he had affairs. Just because there's going to be evidence that she does not mean he's guilty of murder. But you can consider, for the limited purpose of motive, of why he would do this, for the limited purpose of intent, why he would do this. Did he have the motive, the opportunity to murder his wife? So you're going to meet a woman named Jordan Knight, who he calls, I can't get divorced for financial reasons. A woman named Elizabeth Gore, who was with him when Angela busted. A woman named Karin Cain, who he sent text to saying something, I don't remember the exact words, but you'll see it. How do I solve this problem? She said, well, maybe you should turn to a homeless person. He said, that might be the only solution. And there's an end there. You're going to meet a woman named Dr. Karin Cain. And this is my second time. Again, we're going to go in and out of some timelines here. You're going to see some dense text here. You'll see them all. Karin Cain was different than these women, Gin and Waffles and Seeking.com. Karin Cain was also a dentist. She has her own practice. She was doing well in Texas, and they met at a dental conference in Las Vegas in February 22 to 25. In a lot of ways, just like Angela's life was about to change because of what he was about to start doing to her. His life changed also. Dr. Karin Cain was going through a divorce. She had been separated from her husband for about a year. She hadn't been in for many years. She felt vulnerable and awkward being at this conference by herself. They're in dates. She's on the line to go to Cirque du Soleil or dinner or some event from the conference. And she's wondering whether she should go. She didn't want to go alone. She meets him, the man in court, Dr. James Craig, and they start talking. They go in together. They agree to go to other functions together, and they start a very emotionally involved relationship. At the end of the conference, on the 25th of February, they went to the airport together. They had a meal at the airport, and they talked about seeing each other again. They talked about a relationship. They talked about wanting to be with each other again. Before he gets home, he sends her a text. It seems to me that what you need is to emotionally connect, to be vulnerable, and to be loved where you are. If that's what you need, I will try to be the man for you. He tells her that this is not something I've ever done. So Dr. Craig, the man in court, who's got about, he doesn't have much time to be the man that Karin Cain needs for him. He starts talking about his relationship with Angela, how he's not satisfied, how he's not getting from it what he needs to get from it. And he leads Karin Cain to believe, whether he believes it or not, I don't really know, that he can get it from her, that she's the woman that he can spend the rest of his life, that she's the woman that he could be happy with, that she's the woman to make him the man he wants to be. After 3 days, he sends her a text saying that he might be completely in love, and the relationship takes off. When you talk about behind closed doors, we're going to see behind the closed doors when we read these texts between these two. The relationship deepens. So conmigo, dream with me, my eternal love. May heaven let us bloom together forever. They make arrangements for Karin Cain to come to Denver, to come to Aurora, where he lives with his family, with his wife, for her to visit him. Because as far as Karin Cain knows, he's also going through a divorce, and he's got his own apartment. He lives in his own apartment, and he's no longer living in Denver. This first trip planned was for the 9th of March. About 9 days away. He's got 9 days to solve this problem. He's got 9 days to be the man that Karin Cain, as he promised him he would be. He starts searching on the internet for poisons. First set of poisons for arson. Where can I buy arson? How arsenic works. And that morning, he sends, the morning after he starts searching for these poisons, he sends Angela, his wife, a text saying, good morning, good morning, good morning, my love. Because that's still where he is with her. And then he sends Karin Cain a text saying he's fighting with Angela all afternoon. And there will be no evidence. He tells Karin Cain that Angela busted him, saw a receipt for what clearly was a meal for two, and busted him in the shooting. You'll see Karin Cain's response. Oh, baby, I'm so sorry. I hate fighting. Karin Cain is afraid. She doesn't want to be mixed into this. She says it's too soon. At one point, she says, I wish you were further along in your divorce like I am. Really important text, and come back, Ron. He says to Karin Cain the night.
Yeah, I have to say a couple of things because I'll forget them because that's just the stage of life that I'm in. Okay, so first of all, I typed this in, but then YouTube wouldn't let it go through, probably because of the word cyanide. So I was like, whatever. Okay, so number one, if he could have bought the cyanide at Walmart, he absolutely would have at the self-checkout paid with a credit card, right? I mean, come on. Googling where to buy cyanide, y'all. No. I know, right? Nancy says, I can't wait to see True Crime Losers video on this guy. 100%. This is made for him, right? Absolutely made for him. What was the other thing I was going to say? So listening to this and him like coming up with this, he had this whole other story. This is another one of these types. Same with Anthony Todd. I'm curious if he's going to take the stand, number one, because I would almost put money on it. It will be similar to Anthony Todd. Now, Lauren was saying that like he does stuff throughout the courtroom, the hearing, like he'll shake his head, like he's very like physically say dramatic or whatever. Imagine a day before this happened, even just a regular day at the house with this guy, a regular everyday little disagreement, a regular everyday little who forgot to put the milk away conversation. Y'all, you already know what it sounded like. You already know. He would gaslight you up one side and down the next, probably. I can't. I feel so bad for her. I feel so bad. Same with, I mean, all of the victims, obviously, right? But like when you start just put the picture together of what they probably went through just in their daily life, you know what I'm saying? Before leading up to this part of where they, intersect and whatnot. Oh God. Oh yeah, this one's a piece of work. Okay, here we go. Sorry.
Important who goes to Utah to visit her sister. Maybe she will decide to stay gone for a long time. It would be hard for me to figure out how to manage with kids, but it would definitely make my life easier. I'm going to put this money into another time to choose. It continues. Karin Cain says they don't want to watch her heartbreak, so mine can find joy. Because she's empathetic, she's caring. She doesn't know what his situation is because he's not being truthful. Dr. Craig continues to promise her that they had a life together, a future together. I want to experience everything with you. I want us to start at the beginning of everything in life and experience it anew. When he sends this text, he's got 7 days before Karin Cain comes to Denver. He's got 7 days to be the man that he needs to be for her. The man who promised Karin from the relief. He tells Karin Cain just before Angela comes back from detox that he's sad. He's sad because he's going to have to go back to the apartment. And he's going to have to leave his kids in the house. And that's not true. He doesn't have it. But later on, after Angela dies and after all of this comes to light, he sends Karin Cain a letter saying, you know, I'm sorry I wasn't truthful to you. I didn't want to lose you. You didn't have an apartment, but I didn't want to lose you. So he wants to be the man for Karin Cain that she needs. He doesn't want to lose you. How's he going to do that if he's married, living at home with his wife? While he's telling Karin Cain that he's living in an apartment, he's living with Angela. Here he is. She's on the couch. He embraces her. He gives her a hug on another day. Same movement, hug on the couch. They are living as husband and wife, but he's got a problem. He's got a situation. He's trapped, and he's got 8 days. And there's a countdown. And as you see the dates on there, count down to solve this problem. The morning of the 6th, Angela texts him about the smoothie that he made. He texts her and says, I love you so much. And then he tells Karin Cain that Angela felt sick. He talks about some smoothie she had and why she had to go to the hospital. And she simply says, pray. And then he sends a very curious text to Karin Cain. Just for the record, I will never drug you. Now,
Y'all, he texted this. I can't. He texted her, just so you know, I'd never poison it. I'd never drug you. Can you imagine getting that from your other person, whoever that is? Hey, just so you know, the reason you're not feeling good, it's not because I like drug yours. I would never do that. Honey, imagine Aaron Patterson texted the people at the thing, hey, I know y'all are feeling bad. It's not because there's death cap mushrooms in the beef Wellington. Honestly, wouldn't surprise me at this point with the stuff we learned about Aaron Patterson, right? This is crazy. He might be cousins with Anthony Todd. Okay, let's keep going.
you'll hear from Karin Cain, and she's going to talk a lot about red flags that she in their short time together, they send over 4,000 texts. There are over 80 expressions of love, specifically, I love you. They are planning a future together. They are planning to live together in eternal love, to start anew, to experience everything together. He never wavers from that with Karin Cain, ever. He writes her a song. He sends her a song. We're going to hear, he also sent the song to Angela Craig. You're going to hear, he also sent the song to a woman named Carrie Hexat. But he's sent her something. And they plan the future together.
You know the song is pure cringe. You know it's pure
He
cringe.
talks about telling Angela's brother, or talking with Angela's brother about this divorce that's coming. And he said they talked about it, and his brother said, well, her brother said, well, I know you tried really hard to make it work with my sister for lots of years now. That never happened. That conversation is keeping Karin Cain on the run. This is March 13th, 2003, 2 days before Angela's final hospitalization. They had changed that original trip because Angela got sick
There he
the first
is.
time.
That's
Karin Cain said, I don't want to be eating. March 13th, 2 days away from becoming on the new dates of March 13th, 2003. 2 days. one point on the next day, he sends Karin Cain a text and says, "Can I share something?" She accused me of the reason she's sick. Another curious text, another red flag. Another red flag, but not a lot of context for Karin Cain. March 15th, these timelines come together on March 15th. He tells Karin Cain he's going to go dark for that day. He doesn't want to scare her, but he's going to go dark from time to time. Karin Cain is coming the next day. He knows what he has to do. But it's that morning, about an hour later, hour after he tells Karin Cain he's going to go dark, Angela texts him that text. I point a lot, I'm sorry. Angela sends him that text saying, "I'm feeling dizzy. I'm sick. And I don't know why." Later that day, he texts Karin Cain saying Angela crashed. She's injured. She has no brain activity. She's in. Takes this picture of his wife. Can't see her. There's a nurse behind her. This is after she crashed in the hospital. Sends this out to family members. Karin Cain starts to pray for him. And what he really wants to tell her, what he really wants to ask her is, what you doing tonight? And then, are you still planning on coming to the hospital?
He was giddy.
We've been told she's brain dead. And he spends the next 2 days basically on the date. Final time called poisons. Do you remember that? February 27th, 2003, they made arrangements for Karin Cain to come to Denver to spend time with him. Those internet searches, how to make murder look like a heart attack. Tetrahydrozoline poisoning kind, lethal dose is arsenic and metal. Is arsenic detectable in autopsy? Oleander is a dangerous, poisonous plant. The 5 most dangerous chemicals on earth. Beware to buy arsenic. I'm going to put this one back up. See, these timelines could cross. If she were to stay gone, it would definitely make my life easier. And it's around that time that he really gets serious in his opportunity, in his motive to murder his wife. Because it's at that time that he orders arsenic off Amazon. He continues searching for poisons, this time barium carbonate, and she never orders. On March 4th, arsenic arrives. Remember that timeline? Angela is still in Utah and doesn't have access to her. She's not drinking the smoothies. She comes home on the 5th, and she's in the hospital, feeling dizzy, sick, lethargic, heavy on March 6th. They changed the ticket around that time. I got the date wrong on that. They changed the ticket for Karin Cain to come and extend it out to the 16th of March. It gives him more time to be the man that she needs. It gives him more time to solve his problem. He starts researching tetrahydrozoline. It's Visine. Something curious happens, and we'll talk more about it, but the office manager in his dental practice, Caitlin Romero, sees him after hours on a computer in what they call exam room 9. And it's, it's got the dental chair and all the tools, and it's got that screen up there. He's got his own office down the hall. He shares with another dentist. He's got a laptop on his desk. He's got a desktop on his desk. No one was in the office. The other dentist wasn't in the office. But for some reason, he's down the hall in exam room 9 using that computer. Caitlin Romero thinks it's odd. She says goodnight. You're going to lock up. He agrees to lock up. And she leaves. And about 20 minutes later, he gets a text from her saying, "I'm expecting a personal package. When it comes, put it on my desk. He goes to work purchasing oleandro. Oleandro is a deadly plant. Came up on one of his lists of world's deadliest plants, and he orders it online. He orders it from the Jim and Waffles email list, and they're suspicious of this. Why do you need this? Why do you need oleandro? And his response is, so I'm guessing it hasn't shipped yet. He really needs it. There's some emails back and forth where he's desperate to get this oleandro. This is all in that time frame that Angela came back from the days of it. And Karin Cain coming to Colorado. He sends them an email explaining why he needs it. He talks about how he's a researcher. He's not going to use it on humans or animals, and none of it is true. And then he goes to King Soopers and he buys a lot of Pfizer, which we know to be tetrahydrozoline, which we know that he knows the timeline and how much to use to kill someone because he's been researching and reading now. He orders cyanide on March 8th, 2023. My math isn't great. He's got about 8 days before Karin Cain comes with them, but that's a whole bunch of emails back and forth between Midland Scientific or Important Cyanide, or saying, when is it coming? Can you do it overnight? And they also want to know why he needs it. So he sends them this explanation of why he needs it. But this time he says he needs it for surgery as a dentist. And that's not true. It wasn't true. There will be evidence that he even went to Midland Scientific's warehouse, hoping to find a way to buy it over. He failed. But the cyanide eventually comes to the office on March 13th. And Caitlin Romero sees it at the front desk and already been opened. And she's like, oh my, they shouldn't have opened it. He said not to open it. But she looks at it and it's not. He goes back and buys more Visine. This is the day that Angela Craig goes into Parkway Hospital and she saves till the 14th. I takes this picture of Angela Craig, one of her youngest daughters, in the hospital that night and sends it to Dr. Karin Cain. One of the last days of the night fighting. Cyanide comes on March 13th, 2023. Angela Craig is still in the hospital, but he's got what he needs. And Karin Cain is coming in 3 days. Sends this picture. Let's get that out. He sends that picture to Karin Cain that night. And the next day, this picture to Karin Cain. Angela still searching for it is, still frustrated, still scared, still wondering what happened to her and why she feels sick. She's looking for answers. The evening of March 14th, Fendek makes his wife a smoothie.
Yeah, I had to pause for a second and add. I mean, okay, so he's sending the mistress these pictures of his wife. Like, I mean, I don't know her story yet. But that would be so bizarre to me. Like, you saw just the little bit we saw. Like, why would you be sending that to me? I have so many questions about this. Like, at this point, I'm like, has she been charged with something? Was she in on this? Like, what 4,000 text messages in 3 weeks or something like that? I mean, y'all, this is crazy. Then him ordering the stuff, complaining to them. Searches, okay, first of all, searches online where to buy cyanide in the thing. Orders obvious amounts of it. Then calls them up, getting them to rush it, and complains to them. It's almost like a TV. Was it that TV show where they made the fake jury up? Like, if I was on the jury, I'd be like, I'm in that TV show. I'm in that TV show. You can't tell me this isn't real. Like, I would break the fourth wall of the courtroom. I'd stand up at some point. Like, where are the cameras? Like the judge, all y'all should be ashamed of yourselves for setting me up like this, right? This is so over the top. So over the top. Okay, hold on. Yeah, the just so you know, I'd never poison you. Seriously, this is crazy. Okay, here we go.
And can't really see it, you'll be able to see it. You'll have all this evidence to pick up and shake and look at. But he's got a pink cop smoothie shaker in his hand. Remember that. And he gives her a smoothie that night before she goes to sleep. Timelines come together on March 15th. Early that morning, Angela still searching the internet, still trying to figure out what's wrong with her. This is her search. She's looking for emergency room. She's looking for that emergency room over on Colfax University Hospital. 9:35, the defendant texts his sister-in-law, because remember, her brother and sister-in-law are there taking care of her. And he wants to make sure that he gave her this medicine called clindamycin. Now, you'll see some text between the defendant, Dr. Craig, and his wife. Put that back. About clindamycin. He told that the ER docs at Parker Hospital drive his Canadian. It's an antibacterial, anti-infection medicine. She was on one when she went to the hospital. Z-Packs, before we take them in, what's wrong with us? He was taking Z-Pack. It's a pill, it's not a capsule. But he wanted to make sure Angela's sister-in-law gave her this in the morning of March 14th. Capsule. You'll hear his own words how you could empty out a capsule and put something else in it. And that's what we did. The evidence that's believable, the evidence that's reasonable, the evidence that's credible, the inferences which make sense is that he put the cyanide in capsule. Because almost immediately after she took it, almost immediately after his sister-in-law texted him and said, I gave her the clindamycin, or I gave her the meds, she gets really sick. And they rush her to the hospital. They text her at about, they text him at about 10:25, taking her to the hospital. She's not well. His next text is to Karin Cain about something she said to him is so hot. How she must be breathing so heavy because it's so hot. When she gets to the hospital, they do a blood draw. They take her blood. As they did when she left Parker Hospital on March 14th, as they did when she got to Parker Hospital on March 9th, but they're not looking for cyanide or arsenic or tetrahydrozoline. These are standard blood draws that they do in the hospital. Any doctor would know they're not going to find that stuff in these standard draws in the hospital. But fortunately, they saved all of that blood. They saved vials of that blood. Then he gets to the hospital. He is at one point, he says he's going to the office because he has work to do. But he doesn't go to the office, he goes home. Comes back to the hospital. He comes back to the hospital. He goes into the room. Angela's brother is in there. He sends her brother, suggests that maybe he needs to work. Maybe he should take a break. Maybe he should go back to the house. And he does.
Bye.
And just shortly after that Angela Craig crashes. I'm going to power through this. Angela Craig crashes. There he is in his blue scrubs. March 15th, she crashes. And that night, Hayden Romero calls Dr. Redfern, his partner, and says, you know what? Something weird happened. Something weird is going on. Remember the talk tells him about March 6th, tells him how he's back in that room using the computer. Tells him about the cyanide. The Dr. Redfern, Brian Redburn tells the hospital staff, and suddenly it's all clear. It's all clear because all the doctors meet. They talk about giving her an anti-cyanide antidote, and they give it to her. But and there is some improvement, but it's too late. Her brain is already dead, and she spends the next 3 days dying. The police get the computer in exam room 9, and these are all the circuits they found for poisons. Days. I'm going to skip to the most important part of the autopsy, and it's the blood results from Prosecutors. When Angela Craig got to the hospital on March 9th, she was positive for virus. Not enough to kill her. It was kind of the first blood. When she left the hospital on March 14th, she was negative for cyanide. But when she got to the hospital the next day, she had some cyanide, she had tetrahydrozoline, and she still had some arsenic in her system. Later that day, after she crashed, after he was in the room with her alone, she had a lethal amount of cyanide in her system. You're going to hear from some experts who are going to say that that deadly amount of cyanide was given to her while she was in the hospital, just before she crashed. Because that's, you know, that pink smoothie that he gave her the night before she went to the hospital? FBI lab, just because it's a special lab that can test for this kind of stuff, they find tetrahydrozoline in that shit. Essentially, Angela Craig died because her brain ran out of oxygen. Now, when Jim Craig is in trouble, when he's stuck, when he has a problem, he turns to people who are vulnerable, and he uses them. After he was caught, after he was exposed, he sent his daughter a letter asking her to fake evidence of his fake evidence that her mom committed suicide. And he gives her specific directions on how to do it. Buy a cheap laptop, install a VIN, install in some browser, some software to do it. At the end of it all, destroy the laptop. And I love you. I'm sorry to ever have to ask for this.
Yo, it's almost like it's a mixture of Corey Richards and Anthony Todd and a little bit of Sarah Boone. I saw y'all talking about he's a businessman. He's got the post-it note situation going on. He's doing some facsimiling. He's doing some filing over there. Honey, if ever there was a situation where it's like they'd have to get the jaws of life to get me out of the jail to show up to the courtroom, it would be this right here. I'd be embarrassed to even go in there. What do you even say to this? What do you even say to it? I mean, you know that jury is over there absolutely rolling their eyes to the back of their head. Okay? 100%.
That doesn't work because she knows it's wrong and she turns him in. And that doesn't work. He turns to another inmate at the jail called Tina Bohannon, and he gives him a map of his house and tells him where the pictures are, and he instructs him to plant evidence. Plant evidence that the members of the church would find and turn over to the police. And that doesn't work because Bohannon turns him in. He talks to another inmate named William Waldon, and he sends him a script and offers him money. And he wants him to find women to pretend to be friends of Angela, to call his lawyer. He's come to court and testify that Angela told them she was going to kill herself and she wanted to kill herself.
Wrap up.
And that didn't work. Now, at least for more than 30 seconds. And that didn't work. Jim Craig was stuck. He turns to murder. And he asked another inmate to kill what he called the worst still attempted in town, Bobby Olson. And they talk about murdering Yulse and some other inmates. He thinks we're reporting on him. And that didn't work either because that inmate turned him in. And finally, he sent a letter to that inmate's ex-wife with that same script. Find some witnesses, find some women, tell them to say this, and I will pay you. We'll give you free dental. I'm not doing anything. These are folks, I have to sit down. You're gonna start to hear evidence soon, later this morning. When you've heard it all, there will be no doubt that the evidence that's believable, that's reasonable, that's credible, the inferences from that evidence, that the defendant is guilty. Dr. James Brent, the defendant, the man in court, is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of the crimes he's charging, committed here in this county, in this state. Thank you.
Both Melissa's.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's just. She needed minutes to settle these out. Just 1 second.
I mean, what on earth is y'all? This is gonna be next level. This is gonna be next level right here, y'all. I'd be embarrassed to get up there if I was her after that.
Broken. This case is about a lot of things that are broken. Now, the prosecution got out here and put a lot of timelines up and talked to you a lot about things that are not disputed. I know that probably surprises you to hear them kind of say that, but we're not disputing that Angela got sick. We're not disputing that Angela was in and out of the hospital, urgent care. We're not disputing that Angela had poison in her system. And we're not disputing that she died. Really, the crux of this case is health. Right? Now, I would submit to you that over the next couple of weeks, you're going to hear a lot of evidence. Okay? And the how is going to be based on speculation and assumptions, which we're going to go over the definition of reasonable doubt here in a little bit. That's exactly what you can't consider. You can't consider speculation. You can't speculate. This case from the very beginning started with blinders. Okay, so as a defense, we're going to ask you to remove the blinders from this case and to look at everything. When you look at this case, it's actually pretty complicated. It's not this cut and dry timeline like the prosecution just got up and told you. It's complicated. It's like a mosaic, right? I don't know if you guys have ever seen like where you break a picture or a photo and then you're taking those little tiny pieces and you're putting them back together. When you drop that photo and you break it on the ground, it's hard to tell what that actually is a photo of, right? But as you start picking up those broken pieces and you start placing them together, you start to actually see the photo or the image, right? This case is about a lot of broken things that you're going to have to piece together. Let's talk about the Craigs. They were married for 23 years. You're going to hear that they met, they were married pretty quickly. But like all marriages, there were problems. Okay? But this was very much a caring relationship. Even though there were problems, you're going to hear from the doctors that Dr. Craig went to the hospital with Angela. He was a doting husband, I think is what one of the doctors is going to describe him as. That he was concerned, that he actually wanted her admitted into the hospital when she went on March 9th because she wasn't getting better. She was back in the hospital. The texts between Angela and Dr. Craig are very caring and loving, despite them having a difficult, complicated relationship. They had 6 children. They were a happy family. They took vacations together. Disneyland was one of the things that they loved to do together. And they were members of the LDS Church, or the Mormon faith. And you're going to hear that that was very important to both of them, and especially to Angela. That Angela wanted to live by the Mormon values, that she wanted to do right by the church, that that was something that was very instilled and was important to her. Now, you've heard about the surveillance video that was in the home. There were surveillance videos throughout the home, not just in the kitchen, but cameras elsewhere. The thing that's specific about the kitchen is this is the only videos that had audio. So in other areas of the home, you couldn't hear what was being said. There were also other areas of the home, like the bedroom, where there weren't. But you will see throughout the relationship that they're very loving. These are still shots from that surveillance video footage in the kitchen during this time frame that the prosecution is alleging Dr. Craig is poisoning Angela. Loving, caring, affectionate. Sometimes he's initiating it. Other times Angela's initiating it. Again, despite them having a complicated relationship, a difficult relationship, it's caring. There was loving there. The love wasn't lost. But the marriage was broken. Right? You're going to hear evidence of cheating. Well, what's interesting and what the prosecution doesn't tell you is this cheating had been happening for 23 years. There were lots of women. This wasn't just about 3 women or 4 women. This was something that had been going on throughout the whole entire relationship. And there's nothing new about Miss Cain. I know the prosecution is going to argue that and tell you that she's some sort of motive. She's just like all the rest of the women that Dr. Craig was having affairs with. There were lots of texts with other women. Essentially, Dr. Craig, and you will see and you will hear this throughout testimony, is he was saying to women what he wanted to be able to get certain responses back from them, to feed his desire to get attention and to be wanted. Karin Cain was no different. This was nothing new. You are going to hear about money issues, but they're not to the extent that the prosecution wants you to believe. They want you to believe that Dr. Craig was in such dire strait money issues that that was somehow a motive to murder his wife. That's simply not the case. What you're going to hear is that in 2021, Dr. Craig and Angela filed for bankruptcy. You're going to hear that his dental practice did have financial issues, and so he brought in a partner, Ryan. But you're not going to hear that there were dire straits. The mortgage was always paid. They had cars. Their children were well taken care of. They were going on vacations. And the most important thing is Angela knew of the financial circumstances. It wasn't like Dr. Craig got them in such a bad financial situation that he couldn't tell his wife, and so he had to kill her. Angela knew of the financial situation, and in fact, she contributed to that financial situation. She liked to spend, she had her own cards. She contributed to the financial problems that they were in. You're also going to hear that part of the broken marriage was doing right by the church. Angela really wanted the family unit to stay together. She knew Dr. Craig was cheating. Now, I know the prosecution got up and said he was caught. I would disagree with that. He is canted with Angela that he had been cheating. It was something that he was working through. It was something that they often discussed behind closed doors. But you will hear that Angela really wanted the family unit to stay together. That was important to her, that Mormon faith about forgiving, moving past, keeping the families together. And quite frankly, that cheating, that wanting her husband to be better, it broke her. Talk about Dr. Craig, he was a broken person. Again, he wanted to be better. He had conversations with Angela several times about his cheating, talked to the bishop of the church, was trying to better himself and stop cheating. He had anxiety. You're going to hear his own daughter talk about how he had anxiety. Addiction. He suffered from addiction, a broken person. And he was broken when he was arrested and sitting in jail. He just lost his wife. Because law enforcement looks at this case with blinders, he's been arrested, which means he's also lost his children. His children are now on the outside without a mother, now without a father. He's anxious. And yeah, he does some not great things in jail, and one of those is the letter that he sends to his daughter. A broken person who's in a very dark place because blinders were put on by law enforcement can sometimes lead people to do things that are out of character. Let's talk about Angela. She was also a very broken person. She was a mom. She was a mom of 6. Being a mom is maybe the toughest job out there. Being a mom of 6, very difficult, ranging from toddlers to teenager at the time. She was a stay-at-home mom. She was providing the care for these children while Dr. Craig was at home. She had a lot on her plate just being a mom. On top of that, she was feeling very isolated. You will hear that she did work for a period of time, but for the bulk of time leading up to March 15th, she had been a stay-at-home mom, and really that's all she did. She worked out at home, and she took care of the kids. She was isolated in that home. You will hear witnesses describe her as extremely private. She was not somebody who was going to tell her internal struggles, her marital struggles, what was happening to others. Saving face, right? She's a Mormon. That family unit is very important to her. Her being a mom and a stable mom for her kids is also very important to her. She wasn't about to tell people about her internal struggles. She wasn't about to tell people about her marital struggles. She was saving face. She wanted attention. You're going to hear her own daughter describe her that way. She was also manipulative. Words from her daughter again. That if she wanted to try to get something, she would be manipulative. Angela was a very broken person. By her own words. I'm going to show you a clip that was taken from the surveillance video after her first hospital visit at first.
Nobody in their right mind would ever think I would kill myself before I killed you. Nobody. Name one person. may not be your fault if they didn't do their due diligence or anything like that, but it's your fault they treated me differently. It's your fault they treated me like I was a suicide risk, like I did it to myself. And like nothing I said could be believed.
I think it was me. Because I didn't say you were, I'm afraid she did this to herself. I just said, are you going to do a truck panel?
You think that's not enough?
But you can tell the way she said, she's like, yeah, we're going to do an X-ray team. She's like, it's really weird because she said that. Like, I don't know, she didn't say she didn't. Neither of us said, I think she did this to herself, or I think she took drugs, or I think that, neither of us said that. That's
and how do you think it would have gone if you actually suspended me?
Well, I also wanted a drug panel because you were accusing me. I wanted that for me too.
Yeah, well, everything about that whole interaction was 100% selfish and had nothing to do with being there for me. You weren't there for me. You didn't. Because you were too concerned about what you were concerned about. Not like you did not ask. You asked all the details of every medical, everything, everywhere we go. And you didn't even ask. When they said it was high, you didn't ask. Crazy, it's a miracle. But I did. The only thing that saved my life last night was God. One day. Because nobody else did anything for me.
Last night?
But I am angry. I'm angry at you, and I'm angry at them, and I'm absolutely filing a complaint with the hospital. They didn't do anything. Except send me home and recommend that I see my PCP. And you didn't do anything. You just brought me home. You didn't even try to call my PCP or try to call anybody or try to do anything. You just brought me home.
Or whatever. Seems like it's insane.
Some things are a natural part of human existence because we're curious creatures. The other is thinking about killing yourself. It's not normal. And everybody doesn't think that maybe something about having had Tolliver the way I had him broke something. And this is just me getting old.
Yeah, the vibe that I'm getting from this is she's over his BS. That's the energy. I mean, I know that the context of the conversation is a little bit like what's going on, but the energy, the vibe of it is she's over this man's BS.
Something about the way I had Tolliver broke something. And this is just me getting old. That's what she says at the end of that when she is talking about taking substances. And there's a couple of interesting things in this video. One is that you hear Dr. Craig talking about how he was asking for a toxicology screen the very first time she went to the hospital. Why would you do that if you were poisoning your wife? He also said right before Angela states something about the way I had Tolliver, who is their oldest child, broke me. You can hear Dr. Craig saying when she's saying you didn't do anything and you just brought him home, he says it's because of what you took. And she was broken. And in fact, by her own word, she was broken. She was struggling. This is a broken perception, right? We talked a little bit in jury selection about not everything is the way that it looks when you look at it, right? Like you've probably heard the expression, don't judge a book by its cover, because you might think the story's about something and then you dive in and it's actually not about that, or there's a lot more detail. That's what this case is about, right? This was about a family who, looking in, Angela and Dr. Craig looked happily married. There were no problems. Angela's mental health seemed fine. Dr. Craig's mental health seemed fine. Everything seemed fine because Angela and Dr. Craig kept things within their four walls. And not just within the four walls of their house, in the four walls of their bedroom. Their kids didn't know what was going on, right? They were talking about the mental health struggle. They were talking about the cheating. Those were things that their kids didn't know about. From the outside looking in, again, it seems cut and dry, but it just wasn't. There was a broken perception. Also a broken investigation. Tunnel vision on Dr. Craig. We've talked quite a bit about that already, but he was the husband, right? The moment that Ryan Redford calls and is talking about the things happening at the dental office, right? That there was a package delivered and that package contained cyanide. It was over for law enforcement, right? They had tunnel vision. It was all about the husband, Dr. Craig, who works at this dentist office where cyanide was delivered. And you're going to see that that drove the whole entire investigation. And again, what we're asking you to do is to take off those blinders and look at the bigger picture. You're going to hear about a journal that Angela had. The interesting thing about this is a homicide investigation where law enforcement goes and searches the home. They don't find Angela's journal, but somehow that journal is found in the home by her family and is turned over to law enforcement. Do you want to know what else is interesting? The whole journal isn't turned over to law enforcement, just certain entries. In that journal, though, you will see the struggles that Angela was having, right? Where she's talking about being isolated, where she's talking about the struggles of her relationship, that Dr. Craig's cheating and infidelity broke her. They never find any arsenic or cyanide. They also never get surveillance footage from Summerbrook Dental, the dental office where these searches were happening, where the cyanide was delivered, where Dr. Craig worked. They limit the search starting on February 27th of 2024, even though there's evidence and they want you to believe by their own account, other women that happened way before that, yet their search is limited to February 27th. They never interview the church bishop, which we know is an integral part of this family. They provided you a lot of searches that Angela was doing. Those come from her cell phone. They showed a picture of her in her bed where she's on oxygen and there's a laptop, and they submitted to you that she was on her laptop searching about her symptoms, about the emergency room. Well, let me tell you, her laptop is never taken, it's never searched. The search of the home was very poorly done. You're going to hear that. Because again, they had tunnel vision. Right? It's the husband. We already know what's going on. We're going to go in with our blinders on, and we're just going to take what fits our vision. We're not going to look at the whole entire picture. This is some pictures from the Craig's home. This is their bathroom. You're going to hear what was taken and what wasn't taken, but more so all the stuff that wasn't taken or searched. Right? There's a lot of drawers. I mean, you look at this picture, there's several drawers on the left-hand side, cabinets on the right-hand side. These drawers contained all sorts of pill bottles, syringes. They were Mormons. They had food storage, which is common in the Mormon religion. You will see in this picture that there are multiple things of food. I point that out because they're making a big deal that there's receipts for multiple purchases of Visine. It was standard, and you will see in other pictures that deodorant, for example, or toothpaste, they bought in bulk. They stored in bulk. There was 8 of them in a household. This is a desk area in the home of the Craigs where there is Angela's laptop, never taken, never searched. Would have been nice to know what she was searching, right? They have her cell phone, but they don't recover the electronics of hers in the home. There's evidence everywhere. More computers, not taken or searched in the family home. This is the garage of the family home, and this is important because Angela was into woodworking. This is where she spent a lot of time. There are totes, there are drawers. None of those are searched. Talk about what this case is not about. First of all, it's not about what the prosecution says. Okay, it's not about what I say. It's not about what Ms. Moses says. Remember, it's about the evidence, right? What comes from the witness stand, what comes in the form of exhibits. That's what this case is going to be about for you to decide. It's also not about what you heard or what you may hear in the media or anybody else. It's not about whether Dr. Craig was a good husband, right? The prosecution is going to try to say that he was such a bad person, he was a cheater, this gave him the motive to kill. That just does not make sense. This was nothing new. Over 23 years, nothing new. You may not like him, you may not think he's a good husband, but that's not what you're here to decide. You're here to decide whether or not the prosecution has proven the elements of what they've charged Dr. Craig with beyond a reasonable doubt. And in fact, I'll submit, you probably won't like what he was doing. You probably won't like some of the things he was doing. Not what that issue in this case. And it's certainly not about speculations and assumptions, which is what the prosecution is going to be asking you to do. And it's not about sympathy. This is tragic. You have 6 kids who lost their mom. You have Dr. Craig who lost his wife of 23 years. This is tragic. But you can't allow sympathy to play a role in your verdict. I want to talk a little bit about the presumption of innocence. Dr. Craig is innocent now. You know, we've been talking, and you filled out a jury questionnaire with a little synopsis of this case at the top. We talked a lot about in jury selection, about, you know, close things that you guys haven't heard anything about. You heard the prosecution get up and give their opening statement. But he's innocent now. You have to presume him innocent now. That innocence remains throughout the whole entire trial. So as you sit here over the next couple of weeks, Dr. Craig is innocent. That only gets lost if, when you go back to deliberate, when this trial is over, if you believe that the prosecution has proven the elements of a crime beyond a reasonable doubt. And I think that's important, right? Because you got up here and you heard the prosecution lay out what sounded horrific in an open closed case. It's not. He is innocent. And you have to maintain that presumption of innocence throughout the trial. Burden is on the people, right? It's on this table. Even though the prosecution may get up and start asking questions, we don't have to prove anything. We don't have to prove Angela was broken. We don't have to prove that Angela was struggling. It's not our burden. The burden comes from this table to prove what they've charged Dr. Craig with. So let's talk about what that burden is, beyond a reasonable doubt. You're going to get this jury instruction, but this is what you will be instructed by the judge. It's a doubt based upon reason and common sense, which arises from a fair and rational consideration of all the evidence or lack of evidence in the case. It is a doubt which is not vague, speculative, or imaginary doubt, but such a doubt as that would cause a reasonable person to hesitate to act in matters of importance to them. Right? This is the highest burden we have. Because when somebody's life and liberty is on the line, that's why our justice system is the best. Because we hold this table to this burden, which is beyond a reasonable doubt. It is not vague. It is not speculative. It is something that causes you to make sure, right? If you're hesitating in a matter of importance, that's a not guilty. Again, it never shifts to the defense. Now, part of the charges are these solicitation charges that the prosecution was talking about, these people from jail and things that were being sent by Dr. Craig. I want to point that out because another big role that you guys have is determining credibility. And you guys are the sole judges of credibility. In fact, you're going to get a jury instruction that says you can believe all, none, or some of what a witness says. And it's up to you to determine who's credible and what's credible in this case. The evidence for most of those solicitation charges are going to come from jailhouse snitches. And something you can consider is motive and bias for why jailhouse snitches would be saying what they're saying and whether or not they're credible and what they're saying makes sense. Remember, that's their burden. Those are their witnesses that they're going to bring forward to try to convince you that there's proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this trial, Ms. Moses is going to get up here and she's going to ask you to find Dr. Craig not guilty. Because it's the only verdict that you're going to be able to render once you take those blinders off. Once you start looking at this case and put that mosaic together, start filling in those pieces, although it may look a little disoriented like those scales of justice, when you start picking up those broken pieces, the only verdict that's going to make sense, that's going to fit with the evidence, is a not guilty verdict. Thank you.
Okay, so y'all see all the places to follow Josh over in his channels there. Y'all, hold on. Let me get this up here. Y'all. Okay, hold on. Let me get my eyesight going. I don't know what to say. The last literally, this is a level of over the topness that is of the Anthony Top flavor. Okay. I mean, but tell me now, help me out here, because yes, I started rejecting this at a certain point with her. To me, this is the vibe. Totally victim bash, victim blamed, victim bash, Angela. Talking about the defense. She never came out and said, and again, correct me if I'm wrong here, oh, Angela took her own life. It was like she was taking you up there. You see what I'm saying? Like taking you to that threshold and then not say anything. Or did I miss something? Oh, yeah, hold on. Sorry. Whoops, sorry. Okay, Josh's music was playing there. Yeah, so the broken, this like alluded to it. Now maybe they'll get out here and drop that bomb later. But here's my thing. If you were confident about that, like if it was legit, okay, like you were like, no, we've got receipts, we've got cameras all over that house, apparently, we've got it on tape, you would be putting that up there, right? Now, again, I get that you can only work with what you got, right? It's like, so she's having to get up there and just cook up something. Most of that probably came from him. I mean, and here's the thing too, that video they showed, and again, this is just opening statements. Yeah, hey, Puppy Dan. Puppy Dan says, do we know where the police parked? Was honestly shocked we didn't ask the parking question. Okay, the parking question, and we were so close to saying family tragedy, right? She said tragic. We were almost there. Right? Okay, I was just like, okay, we're going down the family tragedy pipeline here. Okay, no, when they do that, it's done with. But that video they showed, okay, like, so you know how like Sarah Boone and like those were like, y'all watch, I've got video, and y'all are gonna see who the bad guy is. And then when she played it, it's like, yeah, we see who the bad girl is. Okay, it's not what you thought it was gonna be. So that video over there that they showed, I was like, now it took me a minute because at first I was like, wait, is this the mistress? And I was like, okay, wait, it's Angela. And I was like, yes, she's over him. She's absolutely over this man. 100%. He has exhausted her beyond belief. Okay. So the defense was there really was no defense. It was like, this is about brokenness. And that was it. Oh, I know, right? I'm taking everything out of my glasses. I'm just like, wee. These are my old ones. And they're actually kind of a little, I don't know where my other ones are. I think they're in the car. Yeah, it was a good day. And Brenda says, you guys, it was a good day. Literally giving good day energy. Okay. I mean, so far we've got this, and then I can't remember who I was talking to here in the comment section about where his employee who had an emotional affair with him, because she took the stand on day 2. What you want to do if you're interested in this is go listen to Lauren over at Hidden True Crimes day 2 recap, and by now I'm sure she has day 3. So the woman who opened the package and then Googled what the cyanide was and started putting two together took the stand. And apparently she had some kind of like an emotional affair with him. And so, like, inappropriate, whatever. Oh, thank you, Peachy Keen. I appreciate that. So, but I was the same way. I was like, boss calls up talking about, I'm having a personal package sent there. Please don't open it. Honey, you might as well. That thing might as well have been kryptonite. That would have burned a hole in my desk. Okay, I would have been dying to open that thing. And then, of course, once it was open, and she saw, what was it? Potassium cyanide, the word cyanide in it. Please. I couldn't get to Google fast enough. That would have been me 100%, but thank God she did. Oh, yeah, Kelsey owes you, yeah. Right? Thank God she did. And then she starts putting two together, right? Because here's the other thing that happens. On day 2, and I forget who it is that takes the stand or whatever, but basically, once this happens, and I don't know the guy who it was that was on the phone, somebody's on the phone with him, with James Craig, saying, we know you had cyanide sent to the office, so stop lying. And then he's like, well, okay, Angela wanted me to have it sent there. And like, why would Angela want you to have cyanide? Well, because she couldn't order it. Why would she want you to order it? Well, because she's like playing a game of chicken. You know, she's like wanting to take her life. It's so bad, y'all. It's so bad. No, apparently they're not streaming this on a regular basis, I guess. His partner, okay, I think Cheryl. 100% he's the type. You know how the dentist, some dentists will sit there with their hands all in your mouth, want to ask you a question beyond a yes or no answer. And I'm just like, dude, you've got like drills doing stuff right here. I'm not really wanting to move. You know what I'm saying? Like, he 100% full conversation with you, just talking right at you. Oh my God, y'all. Bless her heart. God knows what she went through for those 23 years. God only knows what she went through. I'm trying. So he wrote a song. Y'all, please. Would pay good. Please let them play it. And if he does, okay, let's do a couple of things here. So he wrote a song, sent it out to several women. We absolutely need to hear the song, at minimum the lyrics. Then the riding from the jail, trying to get the daughter. Who does that, right? Who does that? Googling where can you buy arsenic or cyanide, whatever. I mean, it's just a thing after thing after thing after thing. I can already tell you, not even knowing the song, if he sent that, any feelings would have been gone, because you know it's cringy. You know it's cringy. You know it is bad. Secondly, I personally think he's going to take the stand, right? Like, I think that at some point he's going to take it, because he seems like just the type, okay? Just the type to be like, y'all don't know what you're doing. Clearly I'm losing the case because y'all, I'm going to get up there. I've got this. I just got to tell my side, and they're going to see the truth. They're going to hear my truth. I can already hear it. And he might get up there and do the song. He's going to be like, look, where was that Saturday Night Live thing? I wrote a song about it. Y'all want to hear it? Here goes. Or was that In Living Color? It was one of those. If he gets up there, pulls out a guitar, plays his little song with a banjo on his knee, I want to survive it. I want to survive. Would not survive. Yeah, I'm shocked he's not representing himself. So I will be very surprised if he does not take the stand at some point. Period of the story. He's gonna go there talking about some kumbaya. I mean, this was out of the left field right here. This was left field. I had no idea this was just turned up. I can't wait to listen to day 3. Oh yeah, if they do play the song, man, I hope they play that song. I hope they play that song. I need that so badly. So yeah, so there's the wonderful world of James Craig sending the pictures to his mistress. 4,000 text messages. I mean, I get when you meet somebody for, you know what I'm saying? It's like 4,000 text messages. Honey. Seriously? What do you, I mean, come on. You know, the 3,972 were from him to her. Right. Okay, that's how that went. Like maybe 26.5 were from the mistress to him. And he's sending dissertations each time. Dissertations. Okay, I'm talking multiple. The text so long that it messes them up, the order of them, when it breaks them up and sends them. Okay. Yeah, she was leaving him on read. She was leaving him on red. Absolutely. So, I mean, Lord, we thought Aaron Patterson. What's up with all the poison and stuff lately? Yeah, major red flag. 4,000. You know what? Let's do this. Hold on, please hold. Let's pretend it's 3 weeks solid. Let's do a little van. We're gonna do some investigative journalism. Okay, that's just what we do here at the sofa. Please hold. How many hours are in 3 weeks? Hold on, y'all. Okay, 504 hours. Okay. Divide. I can't even type it. I can't even type it. 504 hours by 4,000. The discrepancy in numbers is so huge. 7.56 minutes. Every 7.5 minutes, he was blowing her phone up. Every 7.56 minutes, going around the clock. He didn't sleep. Oh, God, I can't, y'all. I'm gonna make myself pass out. I'm gonna make myself pass out. Oh my gosh. Oh, I can't. That's crazy. Remember that? I don't know if I remember that headline where that woman she actually caught charges. It was something like she sent this dude like 50,000 text messages in a week. It was something crazy, y'all. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? It went around, it went viral or whatever. Oh. She sent him all this. This was bordering on pretending you didn't even get to him killing his wife. This was bordering on catching some charges, just text messages. Okay. Bordering on catching charges right there. But remember, look at how many of these people have done this. Chris Watts blowing Nicole's phone up after he's standing on the porch. Scott Peterson at a vigil talking about I'm in Paris. I mean, it's just they think they don't get that they're not going to get caught, right? Oh my gosh. Yeah, and I think it was that one. Oh my gosh. I cannot, y'all. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, right. Whereas he has time to text video. He had to have been sitting there, hand in the drill, one hand just texting. Oh my God. Yeah, this is crazy. And Lauren was saying, for those who joined, she was saying in the courtroom that you saw him doing it. He'll shake his head and, kind of like doing that little thing. I wonder if the judge is going to put a stop to that at some point. And then with the defense attorney also said the whole thing about the daughter's words, she's manipulative. I'm curious to see if the dog, what the kids say, you know what I'm saying? Or because you never know how and I don't know if triangulation's the right word for this, but in these situations like this where who believes who, you know what I'm saying? If they've gotten the kids to believe a certain thing. I'm thinking of current cases that are back in, the spotlight right now in Colorado and whatnot. You never know what they've gotten the kids to believe. Yeah, Chad, that whole vibe. I mean, you saw how the kids talked about Tammy, God bless her, right? Yeah, Kelsey, that's what I'm thinking of too. Chad, yeah, Barry's girls, Chad's kids, like that. But so he could, you never know, because situations like this makes me wonder I mean, they were together 23 years. I don't know how old the kids are, but I mean, people like this, they wear you down. They wear everyone around them down over time. You know what I'm saying? And again, if you were raised in that, you don't really know the difference, right? Like, it's just like, that's just your norm, you know, of like, oh, we just live in the chaos that a personality like this brings. Kids are 8 to 21. Okay. I know, right, Chrissy? Yeah, Chrissy said it made me so angry listening to the Dabo kids. Absolutely. Yeah, but I mean, you could tell on the stand with that one, the I don't know if disrespect or vitriol, like I don't know the proper word, that they did not like Tammy. Right now, that's just Sofa speculation. I don't know them personally, but there was just a vibe, like no, like a very big lack of respect. Vitriol. Is that how you say it? Yeah, Jermaine says my sister manipulated my son and our entire family gives me parental alienation. Exactly. That's the word I'm looking for right there. If there's some kind of parental alienation going on, even if the family's like, you know, all living together, whatever, you never know. So it'll be interesting to see if they, you know, some of the kids take this, you know, the older ones, what they have to say. She died a horrible death. Horrible death. I can't same thing I said with the beef Wellington. Can't imagine being sick from that. Imagine what you would feel like doing cyanide. And here's the other thing too. She's sitting here Googling trying to figure out what's wrong with her. Why would you be doing that if you were doing that to yourself? Right? Like I mean, I'm curious how they think they're gonna explain this away. Man, I'd love to know. Like, this is one of those where when the lawyer goes home behind closed doors, whoever she's got, you know, if she's has somebody she goes home to, what that conversation's like. If she's like, I can't, I had to get up there with a stone cold face and say he didn't do it. Your cat says, "Pa, obviously she was trying to frame him." That's right. I forgot about that. That's what surely that's what they're gonna say. It's the only logical thing that they could say, if they say it at all. Yeah, when she was like, you know, this is about there isn't any speculation, there's no room for this, that. I'm like, no, there's literally nothing left here. If the state can prove everything they've just served up and the opening statements, literally no reason to speculate. It's very obvious. It's very obvious what took place here. Okay. I mean, you have to I wonder, and I want to search this. If there was what do you call it? A plea deal ever offered, because you know he turned that down, right? You know he turned it down. Because if ever there was a case to be like, yeah, you should take a plea deal for this is one of them, right? It's like the evidence is so overwhelming, embarrassing, really embarrassing, shameful. So, y'all, I'm gonna go. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I'm baffled. Y'all, please, you know, True Crime Loser has to be doing this, but I feel like we need to like let him know, right? He needs to do a video on this. This is so up his alley. Oh, thanks, Addie, for becoming a member. I appreciate it. I know, right, Leslie? So, but yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep. So this is fun doing 2 lives today or whatever. If you earlier we streamed the Brian Koberger case hearing, and the judge lifted the gag order. Hold on, I'm gonna try and do it. You know what I'll do? Hold on. Here's Bobo. He's like, "What are you doing? Say hey. Say hey." Good boy. He got his little haircut. We're very proud of our haircut. It looks normal right now. What you see right here, his hair is short. His face is longer. I told him to leave his little beard and everything. Yay. And see, he's guarding. Hold on. It's okay. I'm not going to take it. This thing right here. I hope he's trying to hatch it. Oh, you see him standing up now. See his little short haircut? He's so much, he loves it. He's so frisky with it. Come on, you can have your little bed back. He's like, well, no, you got me up now. Go on. Where are you going? Oh, come here. Okay, there you go. There you go. There's your bed. I know, I messed you up. He's like, arr. There you go. Feisty little things at night. There you go. That's so cute. I had to tuck him back in. So anyways, but that's it. Thank you, moderators, for hanging out, for keeping the cushions fluffed and safe for all of us. I do appreciate you. And thank you, Sofa Squad, for hanging out and watching this with me. We'll see if they stream any more of it, and we'll kind of keep up with it some, because obviously this is like, what? But like I said, so far from what I tell, Lauren is there. Well, obviously, not because I can tell she is. She's there doing recaps of it. So stay tuned, kind of a thing. So that is it. Anyways, I love y'all. I'm going to play Slow Morrison's song to close things out. And I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. I wrote my own little song. I'm going to go up there and sing it. Okay, I'll see y'all later. Good night.
The pillows are fluffed thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough. Join the family. It's all love while we laugh at first criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, 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 come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Oh, oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, 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 come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh please, the puppies need me. Oh please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, 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 come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.